I bet this wall is a good couple £1,000, and so far I've been able to use the backhoe to stand up every wall I've got. This one was a little bit scary, partly because it had more big windows in it, which meant there was more potential for flexing, and I couldn't get it any higher than right there. So then what I did is I put braces along here and I released the tension, but it's still there just in case this thing shifts or slips or something like that. I put these little kickers down here just to keep it from sliding out. And now I will use my strap here and I will pull it, suck it in, get it standing up straight, and really level this thing out. You know, I regularly have people offer to help, come up and help. And when it comes to bigger stuff like this, where there's so much potential for injury, I almost always turn people down. Now Terrell comes over and helps me when he can. He happened to be down in town taking care of some stuff. But it's not that I don't want people's help, and it's not that I couldn't use people's help, but it's two things. I've put so much thought into this, and I think in my head at least I have a pretty good system figured out. And then just the idea of hurting somebody, you know, if somebody came up here and got hurt and then decided to go after me for something, you know, I couldn't afford to figure that out. And then on top of that, I just couldn't live with myself if somebody's kid got hurt up here, especially on this, you know, falling off this second story. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is, now that it's at this level, I'm going to slowly stand the rest of it up, true it up, put the level on it, get everything plumb, and then proceed with the front of the second story. All right, I've got both long walls, both exterior walls framed up, braced up, ready to go. I've got the end right here where we're gonna build the gable end is what it's called. And I'm gonna build it all in one piece and frame it up. See my lazy dog doing nothing but soaking up the sun. Frame it up and then get it prepped to set the 40-foot long LVL. I've put so much thought into this end, whether I'm going to frame it up in two pieces, whether I'm going to do it in one piece, how to properly, I just put so much thought into this. It's driven me crazy over the last 6 months. I just called my brother-in-law, who's a really good framer. He called his framer, who's an even better framer, and we talked it through, and I am now ready to go. So I'm going to lay it out on the ground first, and then Ruger's going to have to move. Ruger, what are you doing, buddy? Then I'm going to get this wall stood up, and I can't wait to get it stood up. That's going to change everything for sure. So this is what this end of the house is supposed to look like. The only change that I'm going to make is instead of 3 windows, we're going to have 4 windows because I happen to have 4 of those windows. So 12-foot high to the tip of the roof, 7 foot on the edges. I'm going to frame it all in one piece and stand it all up in one piece. This end gets the early morning sunlight over that hill right there. So I've got 2, I actually scooted one of those windows down to put 2 giant windows in the the master bedroom on that end, and then each one of the bedrooms has their own big window, so we can get as much of that natural sunlight as possible. And then I still have on this end, there's 2 more windows, so the afternoon sun will come in that window as well. This side gets the least amount of direct sunlight. In the summertime it's not bad, but this is kind of the north west facing, I think. So it should, by putting these big windows in here, my hope is that we get that ambient heat that's going to come off the sun and really minimize how much we have to use the lights, and hopefully that natural lighting is enough. So, all right, for the last 2 days I've been framing on this gable end on the front of the house, the 2nd story gable end. I decided to do it all in one piece, just because I think it will be stronger that way. I think this is really going to change the appearance of what we're doing, and it will start to look like a house. My wife is on her way up here. I'm hoping to have the OSB sheared and stood up before she gets here, anticipating some sort of a reaction. I think this will make her happy for sure.
That's not funny. That scares me to death. Yeah, Keith is showing Cheyenne how Backhoe works.
This is what my wife does when she comes up. She cleans up all my mess.
It's a very big fire.
Huh?
Should have got it when it was big.
She stacks the rocks to make it look halfway presentable. She picks up all my trash that I've been saving for a year and a half. Okay, come up here. Let's stand this wall up, please. Slide down the wall. Watch for slivers. Push down the wall. Okay? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Get right here. Get up underneath it. Push. Okay. Walk down it. Push it up. Walk down it. Push. Walk down it. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Now hold on to it. Let it get out, Red. Okay, hold it. I do. Head nuts level.
Dad, what level?
Okay. I gotta knock this one out. Right there. You guys can let go. It's not going anywhere.
I'm getting out of the way.
Run. Get out of your mind!
Alright, let's go to the car. Oh, guys. Yeah, the most scariest one is going to be this one.
I need my hammer. Reed, bring my hammer. Are those short ones? Not short ones. I need long ones.
Dad, look. Take the ball.
In my hammer, Reed. Bring my hammer. Bring me the whole thing, Rat. Bring me the whole thing. Okay, you guys can go down. Thanks for help.
Even though I barely helped. Me too.
Got it up, and this really changes things. It kind of feels like a house now, and so tomorrow I'll get the other gable end up, and then next week we'll set the LVL beam and set the rafters, and hopefully by the end of next week we've got at least all the rafters up and possibly even some OSB on it as well. We'll see how it goes. The weather still looks wonderful, so I'm gonna work and work and work until we get this thing dried in. But it's exciting. I think it's starting to get real for Cedar. One of the mistakes that I've made looking back on our nearly 20 years of marriage was how many different times we bought and sold homes. And she made the comment to me yesterday morning that it's hard for her to get completely committed to this thing because she's afraid that somebody's going to come along and offer me more money than I've got tied up in it, and we end up selling it. So I don't know how I could ever do this again. Even if somebody offered me $1 million for this place, I don't think I'd sell it because I just don't know if I could physically go through the things that I've gone through again. And we're just starting to understand this land. I just took a walk up on the hill and realized that there's, I think, a spring coming out of the side of the mountain like 75 feet up the hill where I dug a road in. I just realized there's a puddle up there that's been there for about 2 weeks, and I thought it was just rain, but it hasn't rained in quite some time. And about 20 feet along the edge of where I dug this road out, it's all moist, and so I may try and capture some of that. So anyway, next week should be a good week.